Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar on why you should consider yoga if you are living with arthritis. I am Martin Lau, dietitian and services development manager for Arthritis Action. Today's guest is Tracy Ware. Tracy is a good friend of mine, as well as being an awesome yoga and Pilates teacher. She's also training to be a physiotherapist. I hope her knowledge on yoga would inspire and motivate you to consider this movement as part of your self-management regime. If you are currently doing yoga, she may give you a few extra ideas on some of the yoga moves as well. Hello, welcome to the webinar, Tracy.
Hi, Martin. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming along. Now, before we move into the main content of this webinar, is it possible to share with our audience a little bit more about yourself, please?
Sure. As you can hear, I'm not British, so I was brought up in South Africa and obtained a sports science degree, and then I came over to England and spent all my 20s here, and then I went traveling. I traveled Asia, where I was teaching as an English teacher as foreign language, and then I've been back in England for the last 5-6 years, where I've just been following my passion of movement. I really have a passion to help people move and feel good in their bodies. So yeah, that's what led me to Pilates, yoga, teacher training, and now my desire to help more wide range of people through studying physio.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic, Tracy. So thank you so much for your quick introduction. Now, I've got to thank those of you who have submitted questions beforehand. If you have any questions, please feel free to submit your questions in the Q&A box below. We will respond to them at the end of the webinar. Before we begin, I would like to remind you that this webinar is not intended to be a substitute for medical advice. Always seek the guidance from your doctor or other qualified healthcare professionals with any questions that you may have regarding your conditions. Also, we have an interactive element today, and it is absolutely fine if you choose not to participate. So, with the introduction and disclaimer out of the way, let's proceed with today's episode. So, Tracy, what exactly is yoga, please?
Yoga. So I will give you my definition of yoga, and then I've got a few definitions that I've taken from a book, from The Heart of Yoga. So my definition of yoga is mindfulness. It just really helps me stay present, and that all comes back to the breath. So yoga is really about being more present in your body, connecting to your sensations, and really building that connection of body-mind. So instead of, when we get worried or we overthink, we tend to live in our minds. So yoga is about learning to feel more comfortable within yourself, within your emotions and your sensations in your body. So that's my definition. So from the book, I got the definition from being to join, to yoke, to unite. Yoga's roots come from Indian thought, but content is universal and meaning can be completely personal.
Right.
Yeah, the practice can be used to train our minds, to bring harmony to body and mind. It means by which we can make the changes we desire in life. It attempts to create a state in which we are always present, really present in every action, in every moment, so we can perform each daily task better. So we are conscious of our habits, we have the ability to change. Yeah. And if you choose to use it as a spiritual practice, we can say it is to be at one with the universe, understanding that there's a higher power, so something greater than ourselves. When we feel in harmony with that higher power is also yoga. So the practice itself, the practice of yoga, can be done through different disciplines. It can be done through breath work, movement, meditation, visualizations, relaxation, and chanting. So chanting is when you recite a mantra. So you could use Indian philosophy or Indian language, or you could just use your own positive affirmation, like I'm amazing or I am beautiful, and just keep reciting something that's positive. So that's what mantra means.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all in all, it would be fair to say that, it is that we are seeking the mind and body connection.
Yep. We are.
Yeah, right. Okay. Now, something that is always sort of like mind-boggling for me is what exactly is the difference between yoga and Pilates? Because I know you are expert in these two disciplines.
So Pilates is more about posture awareness. So it's about looking at your posture and looking at if you're injured, looking at areas that you could then strengthen or stretch. So it's more postural related. In the classes, we work with mobility and more strengthening workout. So we work the glutes, the core, and the back muscles. Whereas yoga is a little bit more about mindfulness, slowing down, stretching, meditation, relaxation. But saying that, Pilates can also be taught with those elements. It depends on the teacher. So
okay, so they can be interchangeable then in some way.
They can. So the way I teach Pilates is mindful Pilates. So I use yoga principles in the way I teach, whereas some teachers might use fitness. So they will be more not about being present and observing the breath. It'll be more of a movement, strengthening. So yeah, that's the difference between the two.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. Now, could you practice yoga without the meditation element?
Well, to me, yoga is moving meditation.
Okay.
And if you did practice without the meditation, that would be more movement, gym work or Pilates work, or so it just depends. If your emphasis is focusing on the breath and slowing down, then that is yoga. So yeah, bringing the mindful aspect into it.
Oh, okay. So it's quite important that you need to, in some ways, condition your mind, and as well as conducting the movement.
Yeah. So with the breath, what the breath really does is it teaches us to focus on one thing, because our minds can go in all sorts of directions. And for me, what helps is when you've got a lot going on, we can overthink things, or we can really come away from that moment. And yoga, and especially for me, meditation, really just anchors me back to that place every day.
Yes.
And teaches you to flow more from the moment instead of overthinking.
Got you.
Yeah.
Now, as healthcare professionals, when we look at different regime or modality to help with a medical condition, we always talk about evidence. Are there any scientific basis behind it? So are there any scientific evidence to support the use of yoga for people living with arthritis?
Yes, there are. There are quite a few studies that I've come up with. So the first one is yoga for chronic lower back pain, which is a randomized controlled trial, 2011. Yoga in sedentary adults with arthritis. So the effects of a randomized controlled pragmatic trial, 2015.
Right.
And there was also a pilot randomized controlled trial of the effects of chair yoga on pain and physical function among community dwelling older adults with lower extremity osteoarthritis.
This is something that quite useful, because what we're doing is you are showing us what chair-based yoga is all about.
Yes, we are. And there was a positive outcome. Oh,
excellent.
The other one is yoga for the management of pain and sleep in rheumatoid arthritis, a pilot randomized control trial, 2018. Yoga and aerobic dance for pain management in juvenile idiopathic arthritis, protocol for a pilot randomized control trial, 2020. And then a mixed methods evaluation of an individualized yoga therapy intervention for rheumatoid arthritis, which was a pilot study, 2020.
Wow, it's quite recent. There's quite a few of them then.
Yeah, and then what they've brought, there's 2 systematic reviews, which is really good, good form of research. We had studies for yoga for osteoarthritis, which was a meta-analysis in 2019, and then yoga for treating rheumatoid arthritis, a systematic review and meta-analysis, 2020. So systematic review means these papers are examined with all studies that are related to that specific problem, and they're summed up with an overall conclusion.
Wow.
But due to poor methodology in various studies, there is a weak but positive effect in regard to using yoga to manage osteoarthritis. But we all know that physical activity is beneficial to the overall well-being. So adding yoga into your treatment regime will do no harm.
Oh, excellent. Wow, well said. I think it's quite important, really. And sometimes, clinical studies with a poor methodologies can't tease out some of the nuances of a particular, exercise or even a movement to manage arthritis. But I think it's, quite promising in a sense, because we are still like seeing, some positivity rather than nothing at all, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So for me personally, it's really helped me, ground myself, and when we've got challenging emotions that we need to face in our life, it really, what it does is it gives you a bit of space between your thoughts and your emotions. Yeah. So it just grounds you. And yeah, it's really helped me. I've suffered with a lot of anxiety in the past. And yeah, it's just really brings me back to my body. So yeah, it's been wonderful for me. I've been practicing it for 12 years now. So, and then I had, just to reflect, I had someone, because I teach yoga on a Saturday in the morning, and I had someone who had rheumatoid arthritis, and she came into my class, and I said to her, I said, how do you manage your pain? And she said to me that she meditates every day. So that was quite insightful to hear that. So yeah, so just sharing what
from a personal experience.
Yeah, from a personal experience.
And I guess ultimately it's whatever type of movement or exercise modality that you choose to do, as long as you enjoy it, it is likely going to have some benefit, in view of looking at and managing your arthritis. And then this is really good to hear, Tracy.
Yeah, no, it's really good. And I think what's important is whatever form of exercise you're doing, you need to enjoy it. So
yes, absolutely.
Because that's already halfway through, because we're trying to build those endorphins and feel good in our bodies. And when we feel good, naturally we're also going to have a better mindset on us. So yeah, I mean, I'm a firm lover. I love yoga, but I love any form of movement, really. But I'm someone, I know I need slow movement, so that it just slows me down. But we're all different, so we've got to know what works for us.
Yes, well said.
Yeah.
Now it is time for me to pass over to you to take the lead onto your yoga studio. So what I'm going to do is I am going to mute myself and also stop my video. So Tracy, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Ema. There we go. Hi, everybody. So I'm assuming you're all on a chair, hopefully. So if you can come into a seated position so that you're not sitting back in your chair. So come maybe halfway into the chair to the front. And then we're going to find a nice comfortable position. So you want your knees in front of your hips and your feet position. You want your ankles underneath your knees, or you can have your ankles slightly in front of your knees. What we don't want is the ankles all the way back. Okay? So find a nice comfortable position, and then we want to lengthen our spine. So try and find some length through your spine. And then areas we normally hold a lot of tension on our shoulders. So I want you to take a nice deep inhale, lift your shoulders up, and then exhale, release your shoulders down. So find softness through your shoulders. And then come into a position where you're imagining someone's pulling you up with a piece of string. So you want to feel length at the back of your neck. So slight tuck of your chin. And then please close your eyes. And then bring your awareness into your feet. Feeling your feet on the floor. And then bring your awareness into your sit bones. And feel yourself sitting on your chair. Bring your awareness into your forehead and jaw. See if you can find a little relaxation through those muscles. And then begin to observe your breath. I'm going to give you an option. So when we breathe, you have two options: breathing in through your nose and out through your nose, or breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just choose which breath you would like to work with. And then just visualize your breath moving in to your lungs, your right lung, your left lung. Feel your lungs filling up with oxygen. And then as you exhale, feel your lungs recoil. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in relaxation and breathing out any tension. And now beginning to take your breath a little deeper. Breathing into your pelvic floor area, lower abdomen, and up into your chest. And then exhale, soften your chest and your lower belly. So breathing in, feeling the space. And then as you exhale, feel that recoil back as you soften and let go. Breathing in for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. And breathing out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in. And breathing out. If that tempo doesn't resonate with you, please stick with your own. We'll take 3 more deep breaths. And release your count. And slowly open your eyes. And just notice how you feel. We're going to start to mobilize. We're going to work through our wrists. So keeping that nice elongated spine, just begin to bring some circular movements into your wrists. So this is really good for lubricating our joints, especially for arthritis. So please, if any of you feel any pain or anything, please work within your own ranges. And then begin to make some movements with your fingers, just working through the joints. And then bring your hands down to your knees. We're going to work through the right ankle. If you can make some big circles. I don't think you can see my foot, but try and extend your right leg. And then make some big circles with your ankles. Just make sure you're supported in your lower back. And if you need some more support, maybe sit back in your chair. We're just slowly starting to move, bring some movements into the body. Get the synovial fluid moving into our joints. And then place your right foot down on the floor. Begin to extend through your left leg and then make some nice big circles. If you feel like you want to stretch your toes, just see what feels comfortable. So yoga is also about listening to your body and your body's needs, working in a kind way for yourself. So working through movement that feels comfortable. Lovely. So coming into some gentle cat and cow. So placing your hands on your thighs, linking breath to movement. So yoga is all about staying connected to your breath. So exhale, we're going to take the hands over the knees, tuck the chin in. And then inhale, bring your hands towards your pelvis. You can keep your eye gaze to the front or eye gaze up. If you have neck and shoulder problems, maybe just keep your eye gaze to the front. Exhale. Hands move over your thighs, tuck your chin in. And then bring your hands towards your pelvis, eye gaze up or to the front. So we're going to do another 4 more movements. Inhale, lift, and then exhale, tucking chin towards your pelvis. And 2 more movements. And then coming up into a sitting position, spine nice and lengthened. We're coming into some side bending. So options are you can take your right arm down by the side and you can just reach over to the right. Depending on your shoulder mobility, you can have your hand on your shoulder, or you can lengthen your left arm over your head. So the goal is to keep your sit bones firmly on the mat. Exhale, you reach over. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, reach over. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, reach. Inhale, lengthen. So we're going to come into the side bend and we're going to hold it. Now I want you to take 3 deep breaths into your left rib. Breathing deep, feel the space in the inhale and feel the release, the recoiling as you exhale. And then coming back into your sitting position, release your left hand down by your sides, maybe take a few gentle shoulder rolls. Come back to your breath. And come back into your seated position. We're going to move on to the left. So You either just reach over to the left or hand on your shoulder, or lengthen your right arm. Inhale, exhale, side stretch. Inhale, lengthen. Breathe into your belly. Exhale, side stretch. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, lengthen. And then we're going to hold it. So side reach. Come back to your breath, breathing into your right side of your rib cage. Finding space. And then releasing, coming back into your seated position. We're going to come into a gentle rotation. We're going to bring a little bit of visualization into the movement. So left hand, imagine you have a bit of kindness in your left hand, self-empathy. And we're going to exhale. We're going to take the left hand to the right shoulder, and then we're going to rotate. So we rotate, the eye gaze goes to the right, and then we're going to come back to our seated position. So with this movement, the elbow is lower than the shoulder. So otherwise you might get aggravated in your shoulder joint. So it's a nice gentle movement. When you come back, be careful not to come too far back. So find your range that's comfortable for you. So kindness in your hand, inhale, and exhale, rotate to your right. Inhale, open, and exhale. Inhale, open, and exhale. Inhale, open, and exhale. Take your left hand down onto your thigh, and then moving onto the right side. So bending the elbow, can even be lower, just try and not aggravate your shoulder. Bit of kindness, self-compassion in your right hand, breathing in. And then exhale, bringing that to your left shoulder, rotate to the left, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Last one, inhale, and exhale. Then coming back to your seated position, just close your eyes for a moment. Come back to your breath. Feel your breath moving down into your belly, up into your chest. Just observe your sensations in your body. Staying present. Before we come into standing, we're going to give ourselves a little bit more self-love, kindness. We're going to give ourselves a nice big hug. So we're going to take our hands back. So again, be careful not to overstretch. And then we're going to come and we're going to take the right hand and left hand over our shoulders. We're going to give ourselves a nice big hug. And then we're going to open again. We're going to change the position of the hands. And coming in, nice big hug. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Last one, inhale and exhale. We're going to pause that. We're going to wrap our hands around our shoulders. We're going to tuck our chin, give ourselves a nice big hug. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths into the back of our rib cage, down into your belly, taking nice mindful breath in and out. And then release the stretch, release your hands, maybe take a few gentle shoulders, rolls to the front and back. We're going to move into our leg work now. So I'm not aware of people's strength abilities. So please, again, work within your range. So we're going to do a few sit to stands, and then we're going to hold chair pose. So for this, take your sit bones right to the edge of the chair. And I think you might not see my head as I stand up because I don't have the space in the camera. So your feet underneath your knees. Maybe you need some support. You're going to inhale into your belly and exhale, press down through both feet and stand up. So sit to stand, inhale, take your hips back, and then exhale, standing up. You may need to move your feet around into maybe a little bit further back. Inhale, sitting down, and exhale, standing up. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to come into standing. Good. So in standing, one of our yoga poses is chair pose. But I'm going to give you some modifications because this can be quite strong. So if you look, I'm going to show you the side of me. If you come down, you can just come down into a small little chair pose. So it needs to be a quarter of a chair. So you come within your range that feels comfortable for you. Your knees should be behind your toes, and you just hold that. With chair pose, you've got options. Bring your hands to the front. You can take your hands out to the sides, or the standard one is arms over your heads. But I am aware that people don't always have the mobility in their shoulders. So take 3 deep breaths into your belly. And then release your hands if they're not already. And then slowly stand up. So now we've got a lot of circulation into our legs. So you should feel your heart rate start to increase a little bit. We're going to come into some stretching now. And I thought it would be, with yoga, you can use more dynamic movement. Well, I think what we're going to do today is we're going to find a stretch and we're going to hold it. And then we're going to come back to the mindful aspect of what yoga is all about, our breath. So if you can stand behind your chair, we're going to take the right foot to the front and we're going to take the left leg back. So your feet are hip width apart, and then you step the left leg back. And then you begin to bend the front knee, the right knee. So your knee is above your ankle. You may need to soften the back knee. But what we're looking for is a nice deep stretch, well, a stretch that works for you through the left side of your hip. So you can place your hand on the chair. You can also raise your arms above your head. I'm nursing a shoulder injury, so I'm not going to do too much over my head. And then come back to your breath. Breathing in and out. So breathing deep, breathing into your belly, up into your chest. And then exhale, soften, feel the recoil of your chest and lower belly. One more inhale. And exhale. We're going to step the left foot to the front. So you're standing with your feet hip width apart. And we're going to move on to the other side. So we're going to take the right leg back. We're going to start to bend the left knee. Looking for a stretch through the right hip. You may need to soften that back knee. Soften your shoulders. And come back to your breath. Slight tuck of your chin and softness through your shoulders. Breathing fully into your belly, up into your chest. And then exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Lovely. So we're coming into standing now, to your feet hip width apart. We're going to come into some chair down dog. Again, depending on how your bodies are, because I can't see you, please be mindful about how you move into these poses, especially this one. So softness through your knees. You're going to take your feet back and you're going to bend your knees and you're going to lengthen your arms, tuck your chin in. So your knees are soft, and then if it feels comfortable, you can begin to straighten out your legs. So your sit bones, you want to broaden your sit bones, almost sticking your buttocks out. Feel the stretch in your shoulders. And then come back to your breath, breathing into your belly, up into your chest. Take 2 more breaths. And then slowly walk your feet closer towards the chair, bend your elbows, and then roll up slowly, keeping your lower back supported. We're going to move into a warrior. So we're going to start with our left foot, because we started with the left foot. And the back, your back foot, so your right foot. So if you place your heel and then you take your right leg, the instep of your right leg just to the middle of your heel, and then I want you to take that foot back. So if you've got your chair, so with warrior, our hips aren't facing the front in line with the left knee. We want to sort of open the hips. So we want the hips, if your chair is parallel, we almost want them running parallel to the chair. So again, depending on mobility in your body, you may need to adjust and work. Just notice what works for you. So bending your left knee, pressing down through the outer edge of your right foot. Feel that lovely stretch in the inner leg. Shoulders over hips. That might be enough for you. If you want some arm work, lift your arms, make sure your shoulders are relaxed. And then you can rotate your head and the eye gaze on the middle finger. And we're going to take 5 deep inhales and exhales. Inhale, feel your belly rise and chest rise. And exhale, feel them recoil. One more inhale and exhale. Release your hands down. And then bring your feet back towards one another and we'll move on to warrior on the right side. I'm going to do it slightly different on the right side. I'm going to come out to the side because of the chair and I can face you. So I'm going to do it slightly different this time. So the right foot, your left foot in the middle, your instep is the middle of your right heel. You take that leg back. So your hips parallel, shoulders over hips. Begin to bend your right knee. If you want your knee above your ankle. So find comfort in that stretch first. And then ask yourself whether you want to move into your arm lift. So take your arms up so they're parallel to the floor. Draw your shoulder blades back. Rotate your head. Eye gaze on the middle finger, 5 present breaths. Breathing into your belly, up into your chest. And exhale, soften, recoil, chest, lower belly. Last inhale. And exhale, slowly release your hands. And then slowly coming out of your warrior. We'll come into Tadasana where we just stand in stillness. So feet hip width apart, shoulders over hips. And just relax your hands down by your side. Slight tuck of your chin. Close your eyes for a moment. And just feel sensations in your body. Notice them. Forehead is relaxed, jaw relaxed. And breathing down into your belly, up into your chest. Feeling the breath. And then exhale, soften. If your mind wanders, just bring yourself back to your breath. And then open your eyes. We're going to come into our balance. And then we'll finish with a relaxation. So bring your awareness into your left side of your body. Feeling the four corners of your left foot. Find length through your body. Length through your spine. I would suggest maybe if you're not used to doing a balance, hold on to your chair. Bending your right knee. Then placing your right foot on your ankle. I'm going to give you some variations. You can keep your toes pressing down if you're not used to balance, or you can take your toes off the floor onto your ankle joints or onto your calf. And then you have the options. You can take your hands away. And focus on something still in front of you. And 5 deep breaths. If you fall out of your balance, put a smile on your face and playfully get back into your balance. One more inhale. And exhale. Well done, everybody. And then coming back to your Tadasana. And now bringing your awareness into your right side of your body. Feeling the four corners of your right foot. Find length through your spine. Gentle lift in your chest. Softness in your shoulders. Slight tuck of your chin. Maybe hold onto your chair to start with. And then bending your left knee, placing your left foot, either toes on the floor for more support, or you can take your toes off the floor. Steady your eye gaze and something in front of you, and then you can release your hold if that works for you. Otherwise, use your chair for support. Breathing deep, keeping your focus. And always in yoga, if your mind wanders, just focus on your breath. The breath is our anchor to the present moment. Last inhale. And exhale. Slowly coming out of your balance. And give yourself a clap. Well done. So all your hard work is done now. So we're going to finish off now with a little bit of a relaxation. So with the relaxation, you do have options. If you do have a sort of floor or a mat nearby, you can also come into a lying position. So in yoga, but I understand not everyone can come into those positions, but relaxation is always quite nice to do. You want to find a position where you can sort of relax into it. It will help you sort of let go a little bit more. So coming back onto your chair, coming into a seated position, feeling your feet on the floor. Your spine is nice and long. Slight tuck of your chin. And close your eyes. Connect internally with your breath. Coming back to your breath count, breathing in for either 4 or 5. And breathing out for a count of 4 or 5. Breathing in. And breathing out. One more. Inhale. And exhale. So I would like you to imagine, so bringing into your visualization a color that resonates with you today, color that represents relaxation for you. So for example, I like the color blue, so I'm going to use blue. So just imagine that you're breathing this color through your legs, through your feet, and silently repeating after me. My legs and feet are relaxed. My legs and feet are very relaxed. You can either keep repeating that mantra to yourself, or just sense that color moving into every cell. Feel the relaxation move through you. And now imagine you're breathing this color through your hips and abdomen, silently repeating to yourself after me. My hips and abdomen are relaxed. My hips and abdomen are very relaxed. I'll give you some silence, so intuitively decide what you want to do with it. Now imagine you're breathing this color through your arms and shoulders, repeating silently to yourself after me. My arms and shoulders are relaxed. My arms and shoulders are very relaxed. Imagine you are breathing this color through the crown of your head and face. Repeating silently to yourself after me. My face is relaxed. My face is very relaxed. And now just begin to feel your whole body relaxing into that color. Noticing sensations in your body. Notice how you feel. And then take an extra deep breath into your belly, bringing a bit more energy into the body. Maybe begin to lift your toes, bring a little bit of movement into your hands, fingers. Just stretch in any way that feels good to you. It might be a good idea to just rotate your head. We didn't do any neck stretches. Just take a gentle rotation from side to side. And then we can tuck our chin down and make half circles, moving from the left to the right. Two more. And then coming into a seated position, we'll finish off, we'll bring our hands into prayer. Just bring your thumb to your heart space. And just keep your eyes closed for a moment. And I'd just like you to connect with the energy of self-compassion, self-empathy, kindness. And just allow that to move into every cell of your body. Connecting to that emotion, that feeling. And then placing someone in your mind, someone that you may feel that needs a little bit of that. Can be a person, can be the world. And then just direct that. And then we will close today with Namaste. We'll bring our thumbs to our heads and we'll bow down. And thank you for sharing yoga with me. I hope you enjoyed that.
Oh, excellent. Wow, Tracy, what can I say? Thank you so much. I mean, it has been so helpful and also, you know, useful, and you know, another tool that you can use. Now, I have a few questions sent in from our audience.
Yeah.
And I also have a question that has already been sent to us before the webinar has started. So I'm just going to read it out to you. Question 1, the first question is, I have ankylosing spondylitis, which has caused an issue at L5, resulting in a degenerative disease causing flexion intolerance. I find that many yoga poses aggravate that. Do you have any suggestions on how to modify this, any of the common poses?
Okay. So ankylosing spondylitis can be very reactive if you do the wrong exercise. So this should really be managed by rheumatology. But I would also recommend if you are wanting to know specific modifications, it would be a good idea to work one-to-one with, I don't know, a physio or even a yoga teacher, so they can see your body, you know, because our postures are all different. And also what will work for you might not work for someone else. So it's a very individualized question that. So yeah, I think it's down to maybe finding someone who can work one-to-one, because that's more of a one-to-one question, I'd say.
Okay, so you would think that this is more sort of like you know, a question that for the instructor to be able to see and then be able to advise at the same time. Yeah, I think this is quite wise. I mean, that also leads me to another question. I think that ties in quite nicely. Now, how do you find a reputable yoga instructor who can support patients with arthritis?
Well, that is a good question. Well, I know there's quite a lot of physios that would be, trained in yoga as a form of practice.
Yes, so this is a very good point.
If you wanted more specialized advice or help, but otherwise, maybe you would need to ask around, because like everything, everyone has their own special, we're good at certain things and other people are better at other things. So if you would ask around in your community, maybe find a yoga teacher that's done a little bit of extra qualifications on working with these kind of issues.
Yes.
Because it would need to be adjusted, because yoga can be a very strong practice. So yeah, that's my answer.
Or would it be fair to say that if you can find a physiotherapist who practices yoga, that will be sort of like your best bet?
That would be your best bet, but then there would also be yoga teachers, maybe. Yeah, that depends on their training.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, so a third question is chair-based yoga as effective?
Depends. As effective as normal yoga, as on lying on a mat. I think yes, it is. I think yes, it is, depending what you're wanting out of yoga. So because yoga can be targeted, even yoga can be more of a dynamic practice. It can be more strength-based. So it depends, what are you wanting out of your practice is the question you should really ask yourself, because I think chair yoga is brilliant. You can get a good stretch. You can do your breath work. And if you find it, because I'm not sure how people, sometimes if you've got a lot of restriction in your shoulders, maybe sitting might be uncomfortable, but you can always use props. You can use cushions.
Yes.
So, but I think you can still get the benefits out of chair yoga, definitely.
Fantastic. Okay, I've got another one here. Are there any yoga moves good for cirrhosis of the spine? Also, for the management of severe anxiety, depression, in addition to mindfulness element? I am badly needed help with both. I think something that you sort of mentioned it earlier, that it did help your anxiety, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I find meditation, but again, we're all different, and I need to emphasize this, because what works for it's our own journey. But for me, meditation really works for me. So I might not do yoga every day because I like a lot of different kinds of exercise, but I will do always meditation. So I use yoga in my life with different elements. I do teach yoga, but I use meditation a lot because the breath is what, for me, really grounds me in my body, and it sets me up for the day. And I had to learn through the years, when I was going through hard times, I always turned to my meditation, and it always sorted me out. But that's my journey. I know for sometimes people with depression, being still and focusing on the breath might be a bit overwhelming because they don't want to be, but again, it's personal preference. Sometimes guided meditation, so if someone's talking, might be more for you. Sometimes people like visualizations. So I think what I could suggest is maybe find an app or something, and then see what resonates with you.
Right.
Because you can there's loads of different ways to relax, and again, maybe talking to a yoga teacher or going to a class, that would help.
Just to try it out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a tough one here for you. is there any benefit over yoga or Pilates for arthritis sufferers or people living with arthritis?
Pilates over yoga?
Yeah, any benefit, one better than the other?
I don't know. I think both of them have their place. So
Yeah.
it just depends. I mean, Pilates can help you strengthen your muscles. So when you feel stronger in your body, obviously your joints are more supported. So it's a hard question because I like both of them. So I think they both have a place. I think the answer to that question might be down to you, what you would prefer. If you go to a class, go to a Pilates class, try different teachers, go to a yoga class and see what resonates with you. Yeah. And then, because again, like we said, Martin, it's all about enjoyment. So finding a movement practice that works for you, that you enjoy.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Is key.
I mean, that is, it has been support by different studies based on neuroscience that movement is so much better to help with managing persistent pain. Now, I have a question here. What are the differences between different types of yoga, like Yin, Nidra, Hatha, etc.? I do apologize if I pronounce them absolutely incorrectly.
So Yoga Nidra is when it's almost like a deep sleep. So with Yoga Nidra, you're lying down and you are listening to a guided meditation. So when people have gone through a lot of stress and you living in your fight and flight a lot in your sympathetic nervous system, a lot of people need these kind of practices to calm their nervous systems down. So Yoga Nidra it really relaxes you and it takes you into that deep sleep. And a lot of people, when they go and do a Yoga Nidra, it's lying down. So sometimes people are struggling with sleep disorders. So Yoga Nidra is something where you can go and start to restore yourself back. Start to breathe oxygen into your cells, but also learn how to relax. Because I think that's key. I think for me, yoga has also been is about relaxing, because I've always moved, but I needed to learn 12 years ago how to relax. So yeah, because if you switched on all the time and before you go to sleep, you got a lot going on in your head, there is an art of learning how to switch that off, and that comes from these practices.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So Hatha yoga is probably what we did on the chair yoga. Hatha yoga is very much holding a pose, connecting with your breath. And Vinyasa flow is more like moving, flowing, so breathing and moving. So that's another step up, because you need to link the breath to the movement. So it's a little bit harder than Hatha yoga.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Now, is there a rule for when you inhale and exhale?
Well, I think with the practice we had today, I made you hold your positions and just connect with your breath. So there was no emphasis on when you're moving, when to inhale, exhale. If you're new to mindful movement, my advice is if you are moving dynamically, as in moving through a movement pattern, get the movement right first. Then the next layer is to link your breath to the movement. So in yoga's breathing in and out through your nose. With Pilates, because it's more engaging muscles, we breathe out through our mouth, and then so when we're working more hard, so when we need to engage more muscle, we exhale at that part of the movement.
Right, okay, well, fantastic. It is quite similar to what I recommend in some of my chair-based exercises as well, because I feel that, breathing is just so important. It can even help to condition, your body, and as well as helping you to relax as well. I think breathing, sometimes people, it is something that can be overlooked by people. Now, straight after that question, again, it is something to do with breathing. I am unfortunate to have good, well, I'm fortunate even to have good flexibility and movement. The thing I have difficulty in controlling my breath. I feel tense and stressed by artificially control my breath. Does that mean yoga is not appropriate for me?
Okay, so what I'm picking up here is that she finds it more stressful trying to control her breath.
Yeah, it's a gentleman. Yeah, he said that if he tried to artificially, don't worry, because you don't know. I see it in front of me. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, so really just trying, I mean, if you do it so like artificially, he may find it, a little bit, uncomfortable.
Yes. So with ideally what you're looking for with the breath, because sometimes when people are new to breathing, they think they got to think the breath. So you'll be like thinking and you're thinking, but the art is to relax into your breath. So sometimes if you do a little bit of massage, so I always try and tell people to relax these muscles. So because in our thinking brain, we're always thinking. So sometimes if you're new to it, you can't just relax. And that is a practice in itself to just, you looking to feel the breath. That's the connection to the body. Because our head, we know we've got a head, we know we've got thoughts, we know we can think, but what we're trying to build is the connection, that feeling the breath in, and that should be a gentle sort of movement in and out, which takes time and practice for some people if they're new to it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I know is during lockdown, you had an online yoga class, which, I went on it. And I'm just wondering whether this is something that you are continue to offer, or, do you know of anybody that are offering, really good online yoga classes?
I don't know like, I can't think of it right now. No, I don't know. There is not chair yoga. I don't know of anyone that's doing actual chair yoga.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Finally, where can I find a yoga nidra teacher, or a CD or even a DVD that can help to practice this form of yoga?
Oh, I don't have the answer off the top of my head. I do have a friend that teaches yoga nidra that I could
is she in Eastbourne?
Yeah, she lives in I think she lives in Hastings.
Okay, all right.
So I have quite a good network of yoga teachers because I've trained. In terms of finding a yoga nidra online, I mean, I'm sure there's loads of recordings if you just put in yoga nidra recording.
So like,
and again, it's personal preference. Yeah, because sometimes I'm just being totally open now. Sometimes, my voice might not be soothing for you. You might listen to someone other's voice and, it's soothing. So it's about finding what works for you.
Yeah, so, perfect answer.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to stop bombarding you with questions. Well, excellent. I mean, it has been, so useful, Tracy. So, thank you very much, and really appreciate for giving up your precious time to come onto the Arthritis Action webinar. And also, thank you for